what are the health implications of galamsey? As many as 12,000 Shamfang machines that are used in these waters, the president says, have been seized and destroyed.
Well, thanks, Samson. There are a number of issues we need to look at. The health consequences can come in threefold. There are the immediate consequences that we all see, the things like malaria going on the rise, skin infections, deaths due to pits collapsing on people, poor sanitary conditions, flare-up of things like cholera and other waterborne diseases. So those are the immediate ones you can see, that their disease burden is made basically up of infectious diseases. But that is the tip of the iceberg, because then there's the delayed consequences, the ones that we are not taking serious cognizance of. And that is the fact that they use a lot of cyanide, they use a lot of mercury, and they use a lot of arsenic in these mining processes. So you have an unreasonable high number of poisoning occurring in such mining areas. But that is not as grievous as what we are doing to the children, especially those within the first 36 months of birth, because arsenic and mercury are known to lower cognitive development of children, which means by virtue, we are delaying their ability to get educated, in the sense that they wouldn't be able to comprehend properly when they get into schools. And if they cannot comprehend properly, then that means they cannot learn. And if you look at it for a child like that, whose farmland has been destroyed, his water body has been destroyed, they have a lower educational burden. Now we are making them destitute from a social mobility standpoint. And more importantly, when mentally they are incapable with many of the activities of daily living. So that is the delayed consequence. Then there are the deferred consequence. That is what I call us signing a check into the future for which price we even don't know. And some of these deferred consequences are like the arsenic and mercury and all that leaching into the water bodies. So if they leach into the water bodies, they are going to pollute the soil. And it's not going to be even in the local area, because water roams onto the water table. Plants are going to pick it up. Animals are going to pick it up. It's going to go into our food supply chain. It's then going to lead to cancers, renal failures, coronary obstructive heart disease, and pulmonary disease, a lot of things. And I'm asking myself, are we thinking about these things? Are we looking at the disease burden change that galamsey is bringing? And as a country, do we even have the investment in place so that when these things start to hit, we can manage them?
We have to stop them. We don't even have to get there.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying that, are we even looking at the health consequences? Because we don't have to get there. But it's becoming increasingly obvious that we don't even understand that we don't have to get there.
From the president's account, one of the immediate, consequences that you spoke about, falling in the pits, that appears to have been resolved. But what do you think? How do you see the commitment so far?
Well, our commitment has been lackadaisical, to say the least. I mean, we cannot run away from the fact that the water bodies don't look great. But more importantly, the optics, the pictures, we see children playing in these pits and all that. And we have no health and safety regimens to try and prevent these children from going into these places, knowing perfectly well that these things are going to happen. We see these miners doing these things every day without gas masks, without any form of protective equipment. And we don't seem to realize that in those areas, renal failure is on the high. We don't seem to realize that cancers are on the high. So I keep asking myself, are we committed?
Okay. So we are not only in danger of what the Ghana Water has been saying and in fact has been doing. It's not been able to operate some of its lines because of the turbidity of the water. We, in our subsequent discussions of this matter, will try and bring the water resources people in here and the Ghana Water people in here, so they'll give us a lot more of the picture. I didn't look at it from the elaborate manner in which you are looking at. You are saying beyond just the threat that we are likely to import water, we have delayed consequences that will manifest to cost us so much.
Yes, I mean, you have to look at it from this point of view. If you look at places like Russia, if you look at places like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the deferred consequences of the use of the atom bomb and heavy metals are even manifesting today, years after the end of the 1945 Second World War.
Okay.
The same thing is happening in Chernobyl.
All right.
And so we shouldn't look at it. So if we are not thinking that this is the extent of damage, and you see, I have written consistently that with the places like the Second World War, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, this was the world going into a meltdown. In our case, it's us pressing the self-destruct button and trying to destroy ourselves. You ask yourself, haven't we gotten to the point where we can just take our hands off this button so that we all don't get destroyed? You may think that's happening in, say, Western region in some forest or in Ashanti region in some forest. But thanks to things like planting for food and jobs, those foods are going to appear on your table in Accra because you are going to go to Kaneshi Market and you're going to buy plantain that is high in arsenic.
Yeah, that's what makes it very, very scary.
Cancer.
Right.